Hello again YouTube, and welcome back to Just Get a Tesla. Today I'm going to talk about the 10 things that are missing from my Tesla Model Y. What's really good about the Tesla is that it has got quite a bit of ground clearance. However, I don't think it's got enough ground clearance. It is quite a long car, and I've had it several times where I've had it dragging. Now, quite often it's the mud flaps on the front, which really are quite long. Other times I've actually scraped the bottom of the pack. So what is missing is air suspension. If the car had air suspension and you could just lift it up a little bit, it would be much better. The frunk on a Tesla is something that so many other EV manufacturers miss out on. Because of the way that their cars are designed and built, they go into a factory where in this space under the bonnet you have got inverters, you've got various other electrical gubbins, whereas in the Tesla you have got a whole pile of space. So what am I complaining about, you might be thinking? Simple. The lid is not powered, which means to close it you're supposed to do both hands, which I can't do because I'm filming. Why is the lid not powered? Headlights on Teslas really are great in the dark, but one feature that is missing is matrix, so that the headlights dim around cars that you are coming up on. The physical parts of the matrix headlights are actually here, but the software doesn't allow it. Why? There's actually two completely different things missing for me on the camera system on a Tesla. The reality is this car has got cameras absolutely everywhere. It's got far more cameras than I have eyeballs several times over, and yet when I go onto camera view it only lets me see behind and the two side views. Why can I not see the front? It would be very useful for maneuvering. Ironically, I can see the front if I have Sentry mode on the app. So I can go into the app and I can look at live view Sentry and I can connect onto the forward camera, and then I can see basically whatever I want to. So the camera works, the technology behind it works, they just don't let you see it on the screen, and that is a really strange omission. The other thing which is missing as far as the camera system is concerned for me is the ability to be able to stitch all of these images together so that you have a bird's eye 360 view. It's something that my Volvo S90 had, which was genuinely a brilliant feature. Nissans, you know, cheaper Nissans all seem to have it. Why doesn't Tesla? It's got all of these cameras, it's got all of this software, and yet it doesn't let me see something as simple as a 360-degree bird's eye view. This Tesla Model Y that I am sat in is officially the safest car in the world. Genuinely has got so much rigidity in the structure and amazing safety systems that we are in the safest car that you can buy. And yet it's missing one mega thing, and that is when you indicate, you see a nice little view out of the pillar cam. And that's there to show you your blind spot. What you don't have is the little LED in the mirror that just warns you if there is another vehicle there. It's a very simple thing to fit, and yet they haven't bothered. Now, I think this is one of those, let's have the technology create a solution which isn't really there. It's really nice to have the camera on the screen, but it would be also very nice to have the little LED in the mirror just there to warn you when you're glancing across. One setting that I really miss being able to adjust from the other electric motor cars that I've had, whether it's my previous Mitsubishi Outlander PHEV or the Ioniq EV that my wife runs that is also in our fleet, is the ability to be able to adjust the level of regeneration. So the only way that this car changes the amount of regen you get is on the acceleration settings here, where you can go from chill, which is what I'm driving on now, to standard. That will slightly change the throttle mapping, and because of that throttle mapping change, it changes the regen mapping. But it's a little bit of a blunt instrument. There are plenty of times where you could be driving along just wanting to roll along the contours of the land. The Outlander that I had was absolutely fantastic at literally just rolling for ages with no power inputs whatsoever. Now, I've completely got used to the way that the Tesla drives and I really enjoy it, but there are several times where I would just like to be able to adjust it. A previous version of the software did at least give you standard and low options. So I've got options for acceleration, I've got options for steering mode, I've got options for stopping mode. What I haven't got anymore is that option for regen, and I think it's missing. I want to talk to you about my thighs, specifically the part of the seat here which doesn't extend underneath my thighs. This was something that my Volvo S90 had, and it made the seats absolutely amazing. Simply the comfiest car seats that I have ever sat in. It's not that the seats in the Tesla are bad, and I have now adjusted my driving position after 2 months or so and got reasonably comfortable, but if this extended further out, honestly, these seats really would be amazing. There are some odd choices that Tesla have made in the lighting menu. So I'm able to switch the headlights onto automatic, I'm able to switch the dome lights onto automatic, I'm able to adjust things like the auto high beam, the steering wheel lights, I can turn those off if I want to, but what is really missing off here is being able to adjust ambient lighting. I can literally turn them all off, or I can turn them all back on again. The issue for me is that they are just a little bit bright at night. They're not blinding, but it would be nice to be able to have that little bit of adjustment. Surely it can't be beyond the wit of man to be able to program it so that you can have a couple of different levels of adjustment. The Mini that I had, a 2015 Mini Cooper, had the ability to not just adjust the level of the ambient lights but also the colour. I don't think Tesla has the hardware in the ambient lighting to change the colour, but being able to change the level would be very nice. The back of a Tesla Model Y really is a comfortable place to be. As well as the really nice seats that you've got, we've got this amazing all-glass roof, and there's a reasonable amount of height on the windows so that you don't feel hemmed in as you do on some other cars. But there's one significant thing that's missing. There is no way to control the seat heating. So down here on the door, not that you can actually see because it's dark, but I have got a window control and I've got a door exit button. I don't have a control for the seat heating, which has to be done through the screen, which just strikes me as a really odd thing, because if you've got people sat in the back of this car and frankly their bum is a little bit cold and they want it warming up, why is it that they've got to shout forward to the driver or to the front passenger and ask them to turn them on and off? It's just a very odd thing. I understand entirely this drive about reducing the number of buttons, but they've given me a button to control the window but not the heating. Why? So that's it for my top 10 things that are missing from my Tesla Model Y. Please let me know in the comments if you think that I've picked on something I shouldn't have done, or if there's something else that's obvious that is missing. And as always, please like and subscribe. There's so many people on the channel now and lots of conversations going. It's a great forum, and I hope I'll see you again soon.